think we should really care about the lives of so many people that were lost. Just yesterday, report came in that the explosion killed many people at a mosque in Adamawa. Of course, multiple explosions also rocked Mobi, leading to Mobi market actually, leading to the death of many. Well, it's a bit disturbing, the kind of mindless killings, wanton destructions of lives and property that is ongoing in Nigeria. So many people have said that who exactly have we wronged? That this bloodletting is, rather than decreasing, is on the increase. Well, it appears that this kind of killings is becoming peculiar or synonymous to some state or a region. As some have said, that is getting more rampant in the north central geopolitical zone of the country, what used to be called the Middle Belt. But that is for some people who want to really argue that there is some kind of ethnic cleansing going on. Some have alleged that that is the agenda happening in Benue State and neighboring state, Plateau, for example, and some other states in the north central region. But people have said that is not the situation. Security operatives have said two wrongs cannot make a right. If truly there are killings carried out by headsmen, and then of course there shouldn't be militia groups that should be set up with the backing of state government to actually counter or fight these headsmen. How many arrests have been made by security operatives? What is the response of the government at all levels? And not only the local government chairman, but also the state governor and of course the president, who has the ultimate responsibility to protect lives and property. That is actually why he is there, and for so many other reasons actually. But that is key, that is paramount as enshrined in the constitution, being the main function and purpose of government. But so many questions are begging for answers this morning. Recently, Mr. President said that many of these killer headsmen or many of these militia groups are fighting and trying to create some kind of a base in this north central region where men trained by the rebel groups that broke out when Colonel Muammar Gaddafi was ousted in Libya. Some of them have filtered into some neighboring countries when they left Libya. Some found their way to West African sub-region, and some have found a safe haven in quotes in Nigeria. Whether it's ethnic division, whether it's religious division, whether it's tribal division and political tension, and that seems to be a very veritable, viable ground for them to actually test the waters. That is another postulation by some group of people. But of course, let us look at all these angles. Let us look at all these issues, how we can tackle it as a people, as a nation. What should be the response of the president? How has it been handled? How can we unite to fight this common enemy? Those who are trying to divide us, those who are trying to cause the disintegration of this country, Nigeria. Really, it is not about a party. It is not about a political party. It is not about a candidate. It is not about the president. This is about our country. This is about Nigerians being killed. It is not about Christians being killed. It is not about Muslims being killed. It is not about Ibira people being killed. It is not about Ijaw people being killed. These are human beings. These are Nigerians. These are our brothers and our sisters. That is what we're looking at this morning on Citizens Forum. I am Tobi Joseph. You're welcome on board. I have in the studio here with me a public affairs analyst, a friend of the house, who of course will be joining me as we look at all these issues, the angles. His name is Bolaji Adeniji. Good morning, Bolaji.
Good morning, Tobi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, before we come to Bolaji Adeniji, let us quickly link up with Colonel Tony Iyam. a retired colonel of the Nigerian Army, who has also had a fair share of combat and, of course, of some kind of warlike situations. We'll be linking up with him shortly, and when we do, hopefully we'll be able to find some answers to some of the questions we've asked earlier. Stay with us, we'll be back. All right, you're welcome back. It's still Citizens from on the Daybreak Show this morning. We are here to reconnect with Colonel Tony Enyam. I spoke with him earlier, but of course, Tobi was in transit. Maybe he's here to pack and then attend to us. But without wasting much time, let us go straight into it. Bolaji, yes. A lot has been said about what exactly is happening in Benue. Police have given a different account from what the governor is saying. The Nigerian Army have also given a different account from what the police and, of course, the governor is saying. The president is saying something else, that we should not allow people or some fifth columnists to cause some kind of division. When you aggregate all these different opinions together, how best do we fight what exactly is confronting us?
I think it's better in the first place to ignore the different positions and numbers that is being given by all these institutions, from the security agencies to government and even the governor and all of that. Because what is obvious is sheer irresponsibility along the line, from the bottom down or from down up. Just about everybody that is involved in the whole gamut of providing security and securing lives of people in all those vulnerable areas have either been derelict or have not shown enough will to tackle this menace, or have been just irresponsible, or just lack the capacity, or even feel like have been culpable even in some instance. So if you put it together, we just have a system that is failing its people, and Nigerians are dying. The level of the human carnage is now unacceptable. And let me also say this: between 2010 and 2013, the reported deaths from Fulani militants, and I use the word advisedly, Fulani militants, was about 80. By 2014, they had killed 1,229 people. And the report we got just this morning, before coming to the studio, was that between January and this 1st of May, these same people have claimed 901 lives of Nigerians. And then we begin to ask that, are we not in a war? Which nation sits pretty when it loses these numbers? And I had to bring out these figures so we can understand the import of the challenge in our hands. It's unacceptable. We're in a war situation, and I think everybody, apart from blaming themselves or saying things that are not congruent, they need to step up to the plate.
All right, let's have this conversation, Bolaji. Do you think it is appropriate to approach a security situation like ours with ethnic or tribal coloration, tagging criminals or tagging the killer headsmen as Fulani headsmen, makes it a bit divisional and makes it difficult to tackle? Because some people will say, oh, now they are Fulani headsmen. Boko Haram fighters were not called Fulani fighters, or Boko Haram were not called Fulani terrorists. Or when you get a kidnapper in the southeast, you don't call him Igbo kidnapper, or a militant in Nigeria who is kidnapping for ransom, you don't call him an Ijo militant. So when you use this kind of cliches, does that have a bearing on how to find a lasting solution?
I think it's unfortunate to approach it from that angle, and also it is disingenuous to say it amounts to ethnic categorization, negatively though, to say it is Fulani herdsmen. If you do not call them Fulani herdsmen or Fulani militants, what could you have called them? Those who are in the business of herding, this cattle business, are they Yoruba people? They are not. Are they Igbo people? Even if a sprinkle of some other ethnic groups participate in that business, but it is predominantly for the Fulanis. They are the ones that have been doing this business for the better part of 200 years.
Especially the nomadic culture.
Especially the nomadic ones. Because we have those who are probably stationary in various locations of Nigeria, and we have the ones that are moving the cows from various locations outside of Nigeria, even as far as Mali, Niger, Chad, okay, all that route
Yes.
down to the entrance point in Nigeria, Adamawa, Maiduguri, down to Benue, south, and even down to the southwest. So it's a long route. And if you see, the Fulani people are an ethnic group that transcends Nigerians. They are in the larger part of Western Africa, all the countries that I've just mentioned.
Yes.
And so they are the ones doing that business. And if you now have a menace whereby the protagonists are within them, so it is only normal to label them as Fulani herdsmen that have not transmitted to Fulani militants. And look, I don't know how we're looking at it. The Global Terrorism Index, as far back as 6 years ago, had already classified the Fulani herdsmen as terrorists.
I think they were number 3 on the list, or 4.
They are number 4 on the World Terrorism Index.
Yes.
That was a group that has been proscribed as a terrorist group, the 4th largest, after following it is Boko Haram.
Yes.
It is sad and dangerous to note that of the 5 biggest terrorist groups in the world, 2 are domiciled in Nigeria. And the Boko Haram that had received the larger percentage of government attention had even paled in significance to the menace of the herdsmen that are killing in droves. And so it is not labeling, it's not about the Fulanis now. It's about the fact that they have become hosts, they have become susceptible to be used. The resident Fulanis, the normal Fulani herdsmen, just doing their legitimate business, have been invaded. We now have an external aggression, no doubt about it. Because the itinerant pastoralists,
yes,
who they describe them sometimes as transhumant Fulanis, okay, who are not Nigerians. But because we have very porous system in Nigeria, they are able to come and exercise their fundamentalism. The terrorism, the global terrorism phenomenon will need outlets for expression. And Nigeria has become so susceptible. And that's why there is full expression. And there are other angles to this whole issue. And so therefore, if you now have all these people coming from the Sahel, that is the larger Fulani around the Western Africa, they coming, and other than doing the business of cattling, they began to actually perpetrate the phenomenon of fundamentalism and terrorism. And that is where we are today.
Now, with your explanation, would it be appropriate to say that Mr. President was right when he said that the death of Muammar Gaddafi has caused this kind of carnage across that route you mentioned earlier, from the Sahel,
yes,
down to West Africa? Would it be right that has led to this surge in attacks by these militia headsmen?
Look, it may appear to be right, but conversely, Mr. President always makes himself vulnerable. Even when he's right on some instances, he also appears wrong. Because it is too cheap to just say, okay, what we have in Nigeria is just a national aggression, the fallout of the
toppling of Gaddafi.
The Gaddafi and the battle in that zone had made arms and ammunition accessible to a lot of Western African Fulanis and the Sahel residents who now don't know what to do with these arms than to now fester around West Africa and Nigeria and begin to practice fundamentalism. It's very cheap to say that, even if that is one of the prognoses. But you cannot completely say, when are we saying before Gaddafi died, there were no instances of this carnage? They were, even though they were limited.
Now, there is a question bugging the minds of some Nigerians, and that is, Nigeria, no doubt, is the most populous black nation on earth.
Yes.
So-called the leader of Africa, or the giant of Africa. How, is it not ironic, or is it coincidental that this most populous black nation on earth is now playing host to one of the two most dangerous terrorist organizations in the world? Is there any agenda? Is there any external plan by the powers that be to cause disintegration or depopulation?
We will not generally accept that as maybe the intention. But in any population, the bigger or the larger the population, the larger the propensity for crime. The lower your population, the lower the propensity. So let us first take it at that face value, because Nigeria is big, and not just because Nigeria is big, it is big and it's not able to manage itself. And therefore, because you're not able to manage yourself, you're not able to manage your land borders,
protect yourself,
you're not able to protect yourself
and your people.
You now leave yourself vulnerable, because we have now accepted that Nigeria is not only facing internal insurrection, it's now facing external aggression. Look, there's a business part to this whole thing, to justify this external aggression and the fact that as big as Nigeria is not doing what it should do. There are headsmen who are localized in various communities, even in Yoruba land. They've been doing their business for the better part of 20-30 years. We know them. Every part of Yoruba land has a sabo. Okay?
Yes.
Those are not militants, because we know them, we see them. But in some other locations where there are little communal infractions between farmers and those headers, you now have a situation whereby once there is a clash, you have the resident headsmen now calling on these mercenaries who just come into these unguarded spaces. And I'm still coming to that. They come into these unguarded spaces, wreak havoc, and they go and they abandon it. And you don't find the police on them, you don't find the army on them. And they keep doing it week in, week out. And you ask, where are they coming from? Where did they go immediately perpetrate this havoc? And so the whole architecture, and I'm coming down to security now, because that's what it boils down to actually. You see, the security architecture is patently faulty when it comes to addressing terrorism. Yes, a lot of pundits may say terrorism is a global phenomenon, you cannot completely exterminate it, you only have to manage it and contain it. I do not agree completely with it, especially the type of terrorism we have in Nigeria. Let's even, you see, the terrorism has been practiced by Boko Haram is ideological. But the one practiced by Fulani headsmen is just sheer inhumanity of man to man. Deliberate effort to just kill people for no reason. Under the guise, a Fulani herdsman should probably have a stick. But when you now begin to see them with AK-47, they have become so sophisticated, they have access to information, they know how to go through the route, and government seems not to be doing anything about it.
Now, when you just oppose what you just said with what Mr. President said while meeting President POTUS, talking about Donald Trump,
yes,
that headsmen don't carry AK-47, yes, what they go about is sticks and at best machetes. How do you reconcile that? Is it true? Or we are looking at the militia headsmen who are from the external space, who carry AK-47s and go about burning houses, committing arsons, and of course killing people.
The external headsmen were the courier through which these sophisticated arms, these prohibited arms came into the country, and have even found their way into the hands of even the resident pastoralists, such that even the young boy on the road going about with a few cows, fine, you will see a stick in his hands and probably a small dagger, but in various locations around that route they have a sophisticated arms and they can easily access it. And government has not yet devised a way to nip this in the bud. And you see, some people have said that the whole gamut of nomadic herding can be traced. They don't go through the roads. So if you put the army on the road, if you put the police on the road, they're not going to apprehend anybody. But these people, it will shock you to know that somebody can move from Mali today. They are so geographically attuned to the fact that they know the route, the land route, the bush route to move from Mali down to Chad, down to Cameroon, to Niger, get into Maiduguri, Goma, and all of those places, trace their route down to Adamawa, still walk via the bush, get into Benue. And these routes are not yet marked. We don't have the intelligence yet to go and appropriately capture the routing system of these herdsmen. And the isolated communities they just break into to go and wreak havoc, and appropriately design the architecture to secure all the routes. When they know them.
Now, would you say that Nigeria, or the framers and writers of our constitution, were liable or culpable, when it comes to this situation we find ourselves, because it is enshrined in the constitution talking about grazing roads?
Yes.
And so many of these people are claim that, hey, come on, the constitution of the country first guarantees free movement,
yes,
of people, and of course our head is also part of us. That is our business. We can move from any part of the country to any part of the country. And also there are grazing routes. Now some have said that once that is enshrined in the constitution, how come we have forgotten that and then allow people to live or build houses or structures on those grazing routes?
Well,
would you say that exactly is the crux of the problem? You shouldn't have allowed that?
It is not exactly the crux. The framers and the designers of the constitution of any country could not, as at the time they were framing it, envisage every scenario. They could not have envisaged any scenario. That is why these laws are subject to constant amendment as a society evolves and there are new challenges. Then you are going to amend your laws to contain those new realities. And therefore, yes, there is freedom of movement. Are you not going to say because there's freedom of movement you move from point A to point B and begin to harass people on the way? No. And with reference to grazing routes, they were not expressly, you do not find anywhere, as it were, even though I'm not so familiar with that specific provisions in the constitution, how it was put there, whether there are certain states with certain locations actually called grazing routes, and some people now want to build on those lands, now causing an animosity and rancor. I do not think that it was exactly put that way, but because of the nature of those pastoralists, the framers of the probably envisaged that they should be able to move, get food for their cows, because at the time we do not have the fundamentalism that has now gotten into herding. It was not there. It was just they just felt okay, somebody should be able to move his cow, just feed, prey on the grasses around, and when they're a bit fat, you sell them, make your money, and the babies that the cow has again, move it around, it eats a few food around the road, and after a while you sell it. That was the subsistent nature of how they captured it then. But now there's population increase, there's ideologies have now gone wild in the world, and these wicked ideologies are looking for routes and avenues of expression, which the constitution did not capture then. Or the constitution have captured the fact that an herdsman will be operating with an AK-47. Did it capture the fact that we will now have transhumant Fulanis coming in from outside of Nigeria, coming in through very weak borders to come and wreak havoc here? Or did it say that we will now have Fulani herdsmen from outside Nigeria coming to ask our mercenaries to take revenge for the resident herdsmen who have issues with local farmers? So the constitution could not have envisaged all of that reality that is now open to us. That is why every responsible society and its government must always be proactive to react to situations as they develop, especially security.
Now, let us look at the ECOWAS Treaty on Transhumance Protocol,
Yes.
which Nigeria is a signatory to,
Yes.
which allows herders to move across borders in such instead
Yes.
of pasture. Do you think Nigeria should, at this critical stage, be thinking about withdrawing from that treaty?
We cannot, as it were, withdraw, because those who design the treaty, they are part of the various provisions of ECOWAS that allows for free trade, that allows for free movement of goods and services. It is under that treaty, and probably the cows fall under goods and services. The people who move the cows fall under the humans that can move under that free movement. And so, you see, human nature will always exploit any law, any freedom. The ECOWAS treaty did not say, okay, you move your cow from Mali to Nigeria, and as you're moving it, you move it with guns, and once somebody takes one of your cow, or your cow fits on a farm and the farmer gets a backlash at you, then you kill the person. It doesn't have, that treaty does not allow that. And so Nigeria is not going to pull out of that treaty. But I think it is left for every country under that treaty to guide and protect its citizens, even as the law is being practiced. So that is why you now begin, one of the things you can begin to do is to begin to check your borders. Their entrance route, their entrance point for anybody bringing in cows into this country. There are grazing routes which are now well established that they know. We now begin to, somebody this morning was just talking about why can't we begin to have forest guards. Yes, there's provision for forest guards in the constitution. Even as they framed the grazing route then.
Yes.
One of the furnitures they put with it is a forest guard. But then those forest guards were just there to protect wood, to protect illegal lumbering, to protect illegal logging, and to
They were not set up to confront this kind of sophisticated.
They are not even sophisticated. They don't carry guns, and so those are what we call, that the security experts have now called, the unprotected spaces. Because you find the army, you find the police on the road, few areas around the borders, the major entry points, but not the unscrupulously created access points where they are now exploiting. And you don't also find the security agencies along the grazing route. You don't find any security agent on the grazing route. That is why they hide in the plateaus. They go to those isolated and very weak and defenseless communities, kill them, and they go, because those communities along those routes are not protected. There are no security agencies there. Almost 24 hours after any carnage is being perpetrated, you see them now driving to come and protect citizens, to come and just keep security for the next 24-48 hours till the crisis dies down, and they go. And so I think the security architecture must now be tailored towards all those Ikato unmanned spaces, number one, to the grazing routes, and then how to now address security in local communities.
Now let us talk about solutions as regards policy. You know, the furore that the issue of cattle colonies and cattle grazing reserves generated in the country, playing up the ethnic and tribal division once again. But right now, the presidency seems to be changing tune, saying that okay, maybe we should be thinking about cattle ranches, so that these people who are in the business of cattle rearing can set up ranches and do their business there, and forget about nomadic type of it. Do you think this would all go well? Would this put a stop to this frequent clashes between farmers, local residents, and of course this herdsmen?
Well, there has been debate about which of those two options is the best.
Yes.
Do we go the route of ranching or do we do grazing reserves? And for both, there have been arguments for and against. Even though the government has taken a resolution now at the last NEC meeting that probably they should abolish
colonies,
cattle colonies, because it also because of the distrust in the polity, and those are the kind of things that restructuring will address. Nobody wants to trust the next person that if I give you my land just because you have cattle, come and stay here, put your cattle in there, that in 2 years, in 3 years, you will not have turned yourself into an institution and begin to claim ownership
of the
land and begin to drag with natives, which will now develop into another type of security problem. There's that distrust. And so therefore, colony will the man in Ekiti agree that a part of his land will be expropriated to somebody who is supposedly doing a private business? Because cattle business is not an official business of Nigeria. Yeah, this cattle belong to individuals who are doing business, selling it and making money. And therefore you cannot, otherwise those who are doing chicken should be asking for colonies. Those who are doing catfish should also be asking for this kind of latitude to do what they want. And so what's so special? What's the issue with this Fulani, with the cattle business owners? If you cannot put your, if you want to do that business, then you should be ready for ranching. Put the cows in dedicated places. Go and buy the food. Put the food there for the cows. Let the cows eat. And when the cows are fat enough, sell them. But you don't want to spend that money. You want to move the cows around to eat and prey on people's farms. Some other person who are laboring to also earn income from their farms. You want to go and dislodge and disrupt their own economic life and still want to be protected. And when those people protest, you kill them. So I think ranching may appear to be, if we put all the risk factors together, it may appear to be the best solution. Because that is the best practices in other locations of the world. You don't find people moving around with cows. You put them in one place. You get the laws to protect them. You put the security there. All the infrastructure that the animals need are brought to where they are. And from that same point, the business of sale and receipt are done at no cost to disruption of farming and at no cost to lives.
Now let us look at the intervention state governments could make. Some have said that what the Benue state government did also escalated the conflict and situation by banning open grazing. It has happened in Ekiti State, and that has not escalated the situation. Rather, it seems to have calmed the whole situation. Farmers and herders are working together. But some have pointed fingers at Governor Samuel Otom, saying that he was the architect of the whole problem. What can state do, apart from impressing it on the different states House of Assembly to come up with those kind of laws that will help stop conflict? Can they also, as a matter of investment, go into this business to not only ensure peace, but also to generate some kind of revenue for themselves?
Well, you just painted two scenarios.
Yes.
Of same application, but two different results. Benue and Ekiti. I'll get to them now and also just opposite what is happening in Bayelsa. In Ekiti State, we do not yet have an invasion. What we still have there are the normal pastoralists. And therefore it was easy for Governor Adeniji to say, okay, no, don't move around in my state with cows. If you want to do any legitimate cow business in my state, then you have to stay at a location. We will know you, we will tag you, we know where you are part time, and there was this, the law enables that every under the, you know, the Miyetti Allah is in every location.
Yes.
So the Miyetti Allah is now compelled to have a database of every cattle area, and there are various locations around that state. So you can map them. You can say full Adamu Bello and his sons, they are in Kole Ekiti, around Afao. These people are here, these people are here. So all the areas around, it may not be a particular spot, all the areas around that place, we can trace it to somebody who's like the leader, and who's also traceable by Miyetti Allah. That way it was controlled. But in Benue State, there is already an invasion of the whole state. The full complement of these transhumance Fulanis is already there. They have pervaded it. That's why immediately Autumn made that law, they revolted, and by killing more. And of course, Autumn now felt that one of the things we could do was also meet like for like by setting up that vigilante group to curtail the local community vigilante group. Yes. Because he felt that, okay, if people are attacking the communities, if you have our own security architecture in the communities, then you will
since you don't have control of the police.
Since he does not have control of the police, but unfortunately for him, he does not have the capacity to equip those security groups. So those ones move in, do a few things, but they still got overpowered with even larger resistance from the militants now. And then you now continue to have that very unfortunate continuous human carnage in Benue. But in Bayelsa State, they have tried to make the cattle business, they have tried to make the state, citizens of the state, especially the youth, take ownership of that business. They made them to take ownership of the business, and the youth associations through the Ministry of Youth and Labour Development in Bayelsa State, they made them to have this interface with the cattle. Yes. They jointly decided to have where they are going to put the cows, and all the infrastructure that they need are going to be exclusively provided by the youth. So it has somehow become a joint business.
And when you are doing business with each other, it's difficult for you to...
Yes, so the man who is with cattle doesn't see the man in the indigenous as his enemy, because they are doing this business
together. Their money is at stake.
Their money is at stake. Everybody sees it as theirs. So not until everybody takes ownership, then they'll still continue to be, okay, so your thing is my thing, you are doing your thing, I do my own thing, you are interfering with me, and we're going to fight.
Alright, because of our time, we have to take a break now for the national news at 10. After the national news, we will still be here. And of course, Bolaji Adeniji, public affairs analyst and social commentator, will still be here in the studio. We'll try to re-establish connection with Colonel Tony Oyam. Stay with us, we'll be back. Alright. Alright, you're welcome back. It's still Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show this beautiful Wednesday morning. And of course, what we're looking at this morning is the endless killings in Benue State and of course the North Central region. We have in the studio Bolaji Adeniji, a public affairs analyst and social commentator. We've been trying to re-establish connection or contact with Colonel Tony Oyam. We spoke with him earlier. He was supposed to give us some kind of military intelligence and some kind of experience into what exactly it is the Nigerian security apparatchik is battling with when we talk about killings in Benue and some other states in the North Central region. But we're still unable to get through. When we do, we'll surely have him. Before we throw open the studio lines and of course start taking contributions via the short code messages and tweet, but let me quickly ask you this: the different arguments about what exactly is happening in Benue, in Taraba, and some other states in North Central. Some have pointed out that this is all tied to the 2019 elections. That we noticed some kind of surge and increase in attacks when the 2015 election was also around the corner. The 2019 election is also around the corner. That is why this carnage, this wanton destruction of lives and property, these mindless, senseless killings are also the increase. Is it true? Can you draw a nexus between elections in Nigeria, terrorism, and killings?
Well, one is tempted to say there may be a nexus between all scenarios, but not exclusively though. And I think we have two different circumstances here. For the 2015, it may appear so. Don't forget, we had the ruling party, the PDP, in power then, and we had the APC angling to take over power. And one of the three items on which the APC predicated their campaign on were on the economy, were on security and corruption. And they did so much to demonize the PDP on that. And so it was very convenient for the APC to sell the narrative of insecurity because of the bombings, and the killings then. And of course, because the man who was going to be the flag bearer of the APC then is supposed to probably be one of the grand patron, if not the grand patron of the Fulanis. So there was this thinking in some quarters that the reason for the exacerbation of those security challenges were deliberate attempts to tarnish the image of the PDP and Jonathan administration for political benefits accruable to the APC under that circumstance. So maybe may have a link, even though I am not yet convinced that that was the reason then. But I think this time around, what are you going to be saying? Okay, now one of their own supposedly is the president, because it's actually one of his President Bolaji is also a Fulani headsman, well stated Fulani headsman, and is actually the grand patron of the association. And so one would just think that they should have made the polity less security cumbersome for him as solidarity. But unfortunately, rather than abating, it has festered irredeemably. The security situation under President Muhammad Buhari has irredeemably festered. And so the nexus, would you now say it is the opposition that has now been pushing and pushing insecurity and instigating Fulani militants? No, the PDP or any other party do not have that capacity. But we just have a negligent situation, complicity of security agencies, duplicity of roles, rivalry among security agencies who ordinarily ought to collaborate. Because otherwise, you should be asking yourself that where is the place of intelligence in all of this we are talking about? I am not a military man, but if I were the DG of the SSS, I would have been proposing to Mr. President, look, we have some of our officers who are military, who are Fulanis. Let us recruit some of them. Let us give them cows. Let them go into this business. Let them go and understand the roots. Let them go and understand how the security architecture goes. Let them establish links with the mercenary Fulanis, the transhuman Fulanis, and seek for their services surreptitiously, subterraneanly, so that you can have the idea of how they are doing this whole business of killing. That is the place of intelligence. You don't need guns for that. They are not even doing that because the army does not even see the job as part of the Department of State Security. And actually, this current at this point, it is about intelligence, not about hardware. You only crush people you see, but those people who come in 4 a.m. enter a community, kill 40, 50, 60 people. Would the army be there by 4 a.m. or come by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. in the night, slaughter 40 people, 50 people, and disappear? You're not going to find the police at that time. You're not going to find the army at that time. That is the place of intelligence. So we know how they are operating. These are the routes they use. They hide behind the Mambila. This is where they're coming from. And you also have contacts. If you do that, you also have contacts of those professional machineries who do it for financial because they are paid. They are actually paid because if I have my cattle colony in Mubi, for instance, and the farmers rustled my cow or we had a clash, I wouldn't simply secure the services of the transhumant Fulani militants who will come in to come and execute judgment, and they are getting paid. As they are getting paid, they are buying more arms and being more sophisticated, and they are very intelligent because they understand the routes, they know the timings, and they are also well organized. And so therefore it will take very, very heavy investment and sincerity on intelligence to unmask and nip this in the bud beyond purchase of new security hardware in terms of the TUSCON that we are, and even the TUSCON that we are expecting now. We are not going to get it until the end of 2019 at the earliest. Even though President Buhari is not telling Trump to try to please help to facilitate the faster design and manufacture and all of that. But between now and then, what will happen? People continue to be killed to have a token, what do you call it?
Tucano jet.
Tucan jet. Before the Tucan comes in, will people continue to die?
All right, at this juncture, we would like to throw open the studio lines. Nigerians are angling to be part of the show. And of course, we'll take short code messages, 32120. Just keep sending your messages. I'm Mustafa with you.
Yeah. You see, the solution to this problem is for time. And if you can, the only people who know the causes of the problem, you'll be able to solve the problem. They cannot back up the problem of racism. So this is what they call manipulation of professional criminal gang against the innocent people. These people are not, the issue is not there. But they just manipulate those criminals. They can kill the innocent person. Any place. So if they cannot arrest this situation, and UK US is the major patron already said in any situation for BBC. Whenever I'm listening, they don't talk the truth. But I know how to detect. So I detected from them. It's they have turned United Nations to one soul. One whole. So therefore, anything unity is no longer valuable in our own place. So blame Burkina Faso for this problem. So that we can have lasting solution. God bless Nigeria.
All right, God bless you too. Thank you. Yes, good morning. Hello. Hello. We can barely hear you. All right, we're sorry. You may have to call back.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, my sister.
Good morning.
Hello. Am I on here?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, our guest in the house.
Good morning.
Yeah. I'm calling from the parliament in Abeokuta. Hey, I'm listening to you, our guest. You have done very well. But the truth of the matter is, you just have to be very decisive. Am I on here?
Yes, you are. We can hear you.
Yes. I mean, as I was saying, we just need to be very decisive. Mr. President really needs to take the bull by the horn by being very decisive, by being, very thorough and frank about, taking and facing the incessant killing of the thing that is really happening now. You don't want to call them yes men, we want to call them men, we want to call them whatever. But the truth of the matter is, our people are being killed day in, day out, and something needed to be done. We have not even finished battling with Boko Haram. Now, the men are there now doing this. It's kind of
Hello.
applied ex-president of just idea that you should know this. I'm telling you, when it comes to security, no decision is too harsh for you to take. But you think your people are not being well protected. Good afternoon. God bless you. Sorry, good morning. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Let me allow that people to call.
All right. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. Hello, we can't hear you. All right, let's go straight to the tweets. Kunle Gab says, in Ayetoro, Yewa North, last week Tuesday, residents, Fulani headsmen, cut the middle finger of a guy's left hand, and they are well known. Nigerian government has been partisan when it comes to the issue of killer headsmen. By now, the National Secretary of Miyetti Allah should be in police custody. Cattle rearing is a personal business, but Nigerian government has made it official business. If not, why should they be defending their interests? That's all from Kunle Gab. Oriyomi Olaleye says, what name do you call a father who continue to give excuses of why he can't solve the problems of his household rather than giving solution? After all, these problems are the reasons why people voted for them. Akunle Gab once again says, no security at the porous borders, e.g. Call Miland in Igbokofi of Yewa North, not even a police post throughout the land. If Fulani headsmen have been labeled as terrorist group, why is it difficult for the federal government to do same? Or are they having fun with the killings? That's still Kunle Gab. Ismail Oloide says, I think it is very important that people making comments on the killings in the Middle Belt must be equipped with relevant information. As much as we must condemn criminality in whatever guise, however, labeling the marauders and killers as Fulani is wrong and unacceptable. And Kunle Gab once again says, what do you say to herdsmen taking their cattle through highways, schools, even recreation centers? Why is the federal government so soft on these Fulani headsmen? Why is APC as a party a headers party? Alphonse says, why killing my people for no reason? What's going on today? Lord, make this go away. Why butchering innocent souls? Killing another for what I don't know. What will it profit to gain the world and then you lose your soul in the process? Akunle Gab once again says, the security situation of this country has majorly favored the Fulani headers because the president is a grand patron. They are killing unchecked. Kunle Gab once again, federal government knows who and who among these killer headsmen that are perpetrating this evil but have refused to lift a finger against them. Alright, Yemi Davichi says, the kingdom of Nigeria suffered violence and the violent taken it by force. The militant headsmen are now hell-bent on taking the country by violence. Suraka Atabiano says, the killings of Nigerians in the Middle Belt is uncalled for. I urge government to be pragmatic in its approach rather than waiting for events to unfold and then start dishing out relief materials. The headsmen should know that cattle business is a private one. Alright, that's that for the tweets. Let's check the short code messages. We'll go back to the tweets and then the calls later. Moshood Arilojo says, one must not be guilty of ethnic bigotry and religious bigotry. PMB has no control over these violent Fulani people. Him being a Fulani does not mean he supports them. The then rapping in OPC did not enjoy the support of OBJ then. Alright, Ikechukwu Lisa says, killer headsmen are Fulanis, so I refuse to be convinced. My heart is bleeding because the government is yet to find a lasting solution to end the crisis, despite many innocent citizens that have lost their lives. Or is it because you are in a government that is occupied by sons and daughters of Fulani ethnic stock? Alright, keep sending your messages to 32120, or you have to just to type rock, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send to 32120. You can also reach us on Twitter at Rock City FM. Now, let's go back to the calls. Let's see if the network will be kind now. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, the guests in the house.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, my name is Benson. I hope I'm clear.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, that's lovely. The issue of insecurity and the healthcare attack. For instance, as it has been said, we know the problem, but we are not getting the solution right. The problem, the major problem is that these people that are coming, they have sponsors. For every big militant, there is a sponsor. For every killer's head, there is a sponsor. And these people have been rounded up at different locations in Tibet. And these people, they were interrogated and they were able to know the sponsor and nothing happened. I feel that if we're able to bring out the list of the sponsor like the looter in this country, this will reduce this velocity of the attack. And then secondly, you look at the comment by all these Fulani from other countries, you find out that all the security apparatus in Nigeria are held by the Fulani or not that. If they are not even Fulani and you are given a security post, you see yourself as a privileged Nigerian, sitting under the stable of the Fulani government. That is the way it is. So you find out that you go to different states in the south, in the Middle Belt, you find commissioner of police, people who are even as low as sergeants in my community of Benue. Tell me, what does he know about Ogun State? Go to Lagos, you see somebody from across river, from Southeast, sergeant and the rest of them. They are not here to work and secure us. They are here to make money. And that is why the problem is escalated every day. So the solution is that have any security officer from the 1 to 7. They should come from their own geopolitical zone. They may not be from the same state, but from the same geopolitics, from the target and the to the inspector, to be from the Middle Belt. To go there, you deploy people from the Fulani zone to go and do security in Middle Belt. They will not cooperate, and they know the camp of this airplane in that place who have been given direct access to come and settle there. The security of Nigeria is compromised in long time because they give better access to these killer herdsmen from every country to come and occupy the land of other people. That is just my recommendation this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Benson Adio. That was very clear. Hello? 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 You're on air, but we can't actually hear you. Kalaluabi, let's not waste your credits. Maybe you'll call back. We're sorry. It's the network. Benson's call was very clear. Good morning.
Yes, I agree the resource person in the studio. Good morning. I'm calling from Obanzoko.
Okay,
there is this thing that I want the man in the studio to really clear for me. Because when there was this pipeline rupturing that was done by the Ijo youth, we could refer to them as Ijo militant. Right now, the package in the land that is being championed or that is being done by this Fulani headsmen. But whenever you refer to this thing as Fulani headsmen responsible for this, you see some government functionaries will tell you that you should not refer to them as Fulani headsmen, but that they are headsmen. Then when this thing was going on in the state then, we were all saying Ijo militants. And now that it is very clear, because the other time they said AK-47 rifles were recovered from 3 Fulani men. And there was one attack in a village again. When this left, there was one identity card of the Bechiala leader. So, but yet, we have been told that we should not say Fulani headsmen, but they are headsmen. So, who is this people or what is really happening? That is my question.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if we can take one call and then we allow Bolaji Adeniji to react. Hello. Hello, good morning. All right, Bolaji.
Thank you. Well, for Yusa Mustafa, Honorable Jaji, and Mr. Benson, they have all talked around the same thing, that in this whole issue, there's manipulation, there's complicity, and there's sponsorship from certain quarters, both local and international within sub-Saharan West Africa. And I think I've said that earlier. We cannot overemphasize it. It is government that must be responsible and must stand up to secure its borders and create the necessary physical security architecture to actually decimate this insurgents in the local communities and along the Blessing Road. But I think the other issue that Baba really raised, we refer to the Ijaw militants when they were destroying pipelines and bombing gas installations as Ijaw militants. You see, they will only name you by what you do. If Yorubas today, especially in Abeokuta, in Ondo, and in Ekiti, begin to perpetrate a particular crime every day, it won't take long before you say the Yoruba this or the Yoruba that, because that is what they know you to be. I was saying that the Fulani, these headsmen are not Fulanis, they are Fulanis, they are headsmen. And those who also come in, whether the local ones or the transhuman ones, that is the external ones, they are also Fulanis. So, and their catchment area is also along the Fulani location. So it is only normal that they are called Fulanis. But as to why government has refused to actually label them militants, that is where the politics have come into it. And most unfortunately, the other day that IPOB came up and started protesting and just trying to enforce their fundamental human rights around the right to freedom of choice and expression and association, government came down even on them, proscribed them as lawless group, prevented their movement, apprehended their leader, and put out an all-scale military operation on them called Operation Crocodile. Is it Crocodile Smile?
Crocodile Smile.
Yes. But that has not been done in this instance. And that is the undue sentiment, because Mr. President is of the same stock. They are not eager to call these people who they are. And I mentioned earlier that while our government is acting like an ostrich, putting its head under its wings, thinking that nobody is saying it, meanwhile your whole body is there to know that this is an ostrich standing here. While we are still deterring and fooling around, the international community, who are not biased, had labeled Fulani herdsmen as militants as far as 5 years ago. Because the moment you take sophisticated arms to kill with terrorism, they're already pushing another ideology. That's not normal. So you're a terrorist. Today, Fulani militants, they don't even call them herdsmen. They have been militarized. Fulani militants are number 4 in the world. But somebody sitting there in Nigeria saying they are not militants. So that is why they are not giving them the dose of what that ailment needs. The moment you say cancer is cancer, but for you to say I just feel sometimes pain, sometimes I go lean, sometimes I don't go lean, sometimes my hair fall off, maybe I should go and buy some cream to do the hair, you are fooling yourself. You are down, you are getting down with cancer. But because they are refusing to say, agree that we are now in full scale terrorism as perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen, they won't put their appropriate antidote. And when they were trying to defend it, the military chief, he was saying yes, because they are truly non-violent herdsmen of Fulani ethnic groups, who we also know. So if you now proscribe them and tag them terrorists, all, that means even those who are innocent will also suffer from the burnt and the loss and the attacks. But I think what they need to do is to clearly say there is terrorism being perpetrated by Fulani ethnic militias, some within us, some externally. You must first accept that, and that's why government has been responsible for me, especially the Buhari administration. They have refused, and the reason they refused to accept is that that was the propaganda, that was the base to which they sent out one of the three major plans on which they sent out Jonathan administration. And so should they accept that they have been overwhelmed by security challenges which they have refused to address, then they would have been culpable of the same thing that sent Buhari out, sent Jonathan out. So they will have no legitimate reason to ask for Nigerians' votes in 2019. So that's the politics of not refusing to accept to accept the truth and label these people for whom they are terrorists. Who kills people on weekly basis in numbers, and you say these people are not terrorists? Who are they? Even in war-torn Iraq, even in Palestine, even in Syria, we should not even have people dying in these numbers. Those are places that we know that they are in full-scale animosities. Those are the places where ISIS is operating. ISIS is not killing people in Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, in the manner with which Fulani militants are killing people in just Nigeria alone. Those I'm talking about the about 4 or 5 Arab enclaves that ISIS is operating. They are not killing. Look at where Al-Shabaab is operating. Al-Shabaab probably kills once in every 4 or 5, 6 or 7 months. We just hear them, very few numbers, and they take responsibility. But people, a group is killing tens of people, hundreds of people on weekly basis here, and that government is saying they are not terrorists. It is irresponsible, it is unfortunate, and a big shame on this administration.
All right, let's take more of the calls if we are going to be permitted by the network. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Alano.
Yes, Alano, thank you for calling.
Well, it is baffling when we are talking about the issue of terrorism in Nigeria. We tend not to read along the line and make a proper investigation for us to divulge those perpetrating the evil. There are enemies within, and there are enemies outside. This is what we need to find about and to put things in proper perspective. It is not just happening, it has happened in the past. Our experience and history has shown that we are not so militant as what we are experiencing now. In a Yoruba adage, they will say, Ejo Olowonu. We need to find that snake that is behind this perpetration that is becoming a division among us, and to try as much as possible to nip it on the spot so that Nigeria can exist as an egalitarian society that is peaceful and that is harmonious and that is accommodating for any people to come and live within. Please let us make our findings, let us divulge information, let us find out about what is happening, what is prevailing before we come with. We have to realize 2 years as Buhari become a president, then it turned to Fulani herdsmen. When he was not a president, it was Boko Haram. Why wasn't turning to Fulani herdsmen? There is something behind it. Thank you, good morning, and God bless you.
All right, God bless you too. Thank you so much for calling. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello. Okay, I guess the caller was not ready. A critical analysis of the present government's actions or inactions show the president's inability to solve her security challenges. Why is it now that he just decided to recruit more policemen despite the numbers being lost? He only gave approval for just 6,000. If we divide that by 776, we will have about 4 policemen per local government added to the existing number. Does this show seriousness to tackle the problem head-on? Tunji Omozaki sent in that, and this one says, I cannot agree that Buhari is a sectional leader because it takes him nothing to label IPOB as terrorists. So what is he waiting for to act the same way to this criminal gang so that we can believe that it belongs to nobody? That's Ikechukwu Olisa. All right, let's wrap it up with the streets because of our time. Yemi Da Vinci says President Buhari's statement that the headsman issue is because America helped kill Gaddafi is arrant abdication of duty at the airport and government secretariats we've seen overrun by cattle, also on the so-called trade routes or grazing routes. To be fair to President Buhari, President Jonathan is also a grand patron of Miyetti Cattle Breeders Association. All right, the way I see this issue, it is precipitated by 4 factors. Desertification, which is why more cattle are coming down south. Population explosion, which is why unofficial grazing routes are now farms and houses. Insecurity in Libya, and then porous security architecture. That's Yemi Da Vinci. Alphonsus Umbe says, tell them, make them stop the killings now. Make them stop the shooting now. Make them let my people go. We cannot take it anymore. Ismail Oloide says there are many headsmen who are not Fulanis. I know for a fact that there are many Kanuris who are headsmen. Shu Arabs, mostly found in Borno, are also predominantly cattle breeders and herders. Those marauders perpetrating these killings are sponsored. The killings are political. That's Ismail Oloide. Adeyinka Adedeyimbo says, 2 days ago, a filling station in my area opened in the morning only to find a headless body of the night guard. Criminals at work. That's a sad one. Yemi Da Vinci says, I would like to ask the guests in the studio to balance the crisis in the Middle Belt with an analysis of Fulani headsmen being slaughtered in Adamawa and Zamfara by cattle rustlers and violent farmers. Unfortunately, time won't permit. Well, I guess we quickly make a passing comment before we draw the curtains on the show. Adeyinka Adedeyimbo says, criminals are criminals. Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, or Ijaws. It is the highest form of hypocrisy and ignorance to say PMB is a Fulani man. That the president is Fulani, that's why he's not taking action. A blue blood prince of the caliphate, a potential emir of Sokoto. Okay, Prince Dasuki is in detention with no hope of being released. El Zakzaki has also been in detention. Reason Nigerian government will label IPOB terrorists and not militant headsmen, same is because the Nigerian security architecture is built for regime security and not protecting the people of the country. It has been so since military era, but someone promised us change. All right, thank you. Bolaji Adeniji, your final submissions.
I think government must quickly realize that we are in a war situation. The security agencies should also recognize it as such. It is when you make appropriate diagnosis that you are able to recommend the appropriate drug. The diagnosis today is that there is full-scale terrorism in the guise of Fulani headsmen. Once we accept that, government should also convince itself that it must fight it headlong, no matter who sucks its God. It should be ready to give the security agencies the charge. For me, the current service chiefs have outlived their usefulness. And a lot of commentators are now saying that they have not helped their chief in their CNC since he got to power over 3 years ago. They have not helped him. There has not been any, apart from the take back of Sambisa, largely, there has not been any other major breakthrough. Rather, they have been festering of security issues. And more often than not, the rivalry amongst them, the sheer incompetence, and the culpability on most occasions. When you hear that the military, the boys were sent in the direction where they know that they are going to have landmines there, and they get there, they die, or sometimes they are not even given the appropriate tools to work, or the monies that gets to the service chiefs are just being looted, and you know what they need to do so the kind of motivation that these guys need to confront this insurgency are not giving them. That needs to also be addressed. And so the whole security issue needs to be addressed. Government must also critically address intelligence. Every security starts from the point of intelligence. Even ordinary community policing. You must know the incubators of crime. You must know the generators of crime, where it is coming from. How are they doing it? What is the modus operandi? Who are the sources? What are the outlets and what are the predisposing factors? When you understand that, then the question of the actual act becomes secondary. Because even by having that diligence, you even prevent, because we must not wait until people die. Why can't you prevent people dying? Because those who have died, you can't bring them back. So government has a lot to do than just going around blaming Buhari to Gaddafi tomorrow, blaming the PDP next day, and just going around governance like somebody doesn't know what he's doing. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for honoring your invitation.
Thank you.
Bolaji Adeniji, we appreciate you. We appreciate all those who have also been part of the show. We want to appreciate you for also listening quietly, those who did not contribute. Same time, same station, God willing, tomorrow there'll be another episode of the Daybreak Show, starting as early as 7 a.m. I am Tobi Joseph. Have a wonderful Wednesday.